We'll go ahead and call this meeting of the Board of Education to order. We do not have any school or staff highlights tonight, so we're going to move on to public comment. So, Gil Lackey, if you'd like to come up. Right over here. And then when we have public comment, there's always a statement that we read, so I'm going to read it just really quick, okay, and then we'll get started. So, any district employee, patron residing in the district, or student attending Auburn-Washburn may speak in open forum. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and then the board will have 2 additional minutes to ask clarifying questions. We ask that those speaking model the behavior and rules we expect from our students and your children when speaking. Please be respectful and courteous during your comments. The board will show you the same level of respect. If your comments are about personnel problems concerning to students, parents, or school employees, please note that board policy KN requires that you visit with the teacher, principal, or superintendent before bringing the issue to the Board of Education. All matters pertaining to negotiations between any group and the board are only discussed by the board in executive session. So, Ophelia, you have 3 minutes.
May I time myself?
Yeah, that's fine, and I will actually give you a reminder towards the end, and I won't cut you off at the end. I'll just let you know when you're close, and go from there.
Okay. Is the board ready?
Yep.
I, like any other high school senior, am looking nervously toward college. I'm looking at all my classes, and I'm seeing that all of the higher level classes, all of those 200s and 300s, they're all about a single topic. And that topic is then applied to other courses or other parts of the curriculum. And I look back toward my high school career, and I can think of the classes that I've taken with those higher level college courses in mind, and I can only really see one type of class. My debate classes. Now, debate is a competitive activity. It's essentially competitive learning, where you have this one debate topic throughout the entire year, and you set out to learn the most you can about it. And this debate all starts with one class, novice debate. Now, novice debate is currently not an honors credit. However, experienced debate can be an honors credit, and I fear that not having the honors credit for novice debate is actually disincentivizing debate for many people who debate would certainly benefit. As you know, without an honors credit, many people who are looking to be valedictorian, they then lose that credit for the period. They have a finite number of credits to have. And I believe that debate is one of the most valuable classes that they can be using for that credit. Debate has helped me in a myriad of ways. I am a national merit finalist, and I am almost positive that debate is the reason why I've been able to overcome so many problems. After all, it teaches you more than just research, more than just studying. It teaches you interpersonal relationships. It teaches you how to go through school. It assigns you, it mentors to learn. It's not just learning, it's competitive learning. You get to know the competitive aspect that fuels your academic career. And it's for that reason why I believe that we should not be disincentivizing the people striving for perfection away from debate. And therefore, I ask the board to think of giving the novice debate an honors credit. Thank you very much.
Well, Ophelia, before I open it up to the rest of the board to ask questions, I just want to say, one, you're very brave for getting up and saying that. It takes a lot of guts, especially as a student, to come in and say that. And two, debate has obviously served you well. You did a wonderful job speaking. So thank you for taking the time to present that to us. Are there any questions from the board? And then, Jeff, I have a question for you.
Yeah. And I do have a question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You're a senior this year?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what your plan is for next year?
I plan on going to Beloit College, sir.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
The
Awesome.
specific class I was talking about was actually, I think, 215 Spanish for, I think it's like medical uses for Spanish.
Okay.
We just were talking about something for debate. Right. Sorry, I can't remember all the details. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember because we had increased interest for that. Is that
Your
right?
advocacy is well timed. For the next school year, we will be offering honors novice debate.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So I think and I think that's something that both the staff and Jeff in Learning Services they have recognized as something to push students further in debate, and we're really excited to be able to offer that for our students, and really thankful for that you were willing to come up and talk to us about it. It's always great to have a personal connection to that. So,
Thank you, sir.
anybody else have any other questions before that?
What's your debate win record?
Not very good, sir.
Well, you convinced me.
I am significantly better at forensics, which is the skill that I was using just
Yeah.
now. I am actually qualified to 2 national tournaments and the state tournament in informative speaking,
You did a great job. Thank you.
which
Yeah.
is just another thing that debate has helped me strive for in school.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Great.
Well, Ophelia, thank you very much for coming and speaking with us tonight, and we're excited to be able to offer that next year.
Thank you very much, sir.
Have a good night.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to move on to roll call. All members except for Brian Smith are present tonight. And then we're going to move to 3.02, approval of the agenda.
I move that the Board of Education approve the agenda as published.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. We're going to move into disposition of business by consent.
I move the Board of Education approve business by consent, including the payment of bills in the amount of $5,465,850.13.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. We're going to move on to administrator reports. So the first one is School Safety Committee report.
Yeah, so I might take the lead on comments, but I'd like to look in the back, the AWA negotiations team, either all can come up or a certain person can come up. Libby, whatever you would like to do. It was a team effort, so whoever is here, feel free to come up. So as a Board of Education, you are aware, for 2 years now, we have put together, as an outcome of the negotiations process, a school safety committee. We had 6 meetings last school year, and I was thinking about this. This particular update was given at Washburn Rural North last year when we took the show on the road, following an event that we had, an open house there a year ago. And so the committee, the decision was made mutually to continue the school safety committee moving into this year. So we had our meetings in the fall, and then that eventually led us to creating a document that AWNEA and us around the table have put together and agreed to moving into this upcoming 2026-27 school year. At the end of the day, in each of our buildings, we want to stress the importance of doing certain things related to school safety to kick off every school year. So these are some events or activities that will take place building by building during the month of August to ensure that all of our certified staff and also our classified staff know what to do in the event of a school safety situation or a crisis. And so this document is in the board docs for you to take a look at. And we thought that this was a good outcome of this year's school safety committee. And we look forward to making it operational moving into next school year. The 3 things, the bulleted list, and there are several things under each one. One is response protocol. And we have a series of things to make sure that we go through with all staff in each of the schools. Do some scenario-based training. The best way to know what to do is to practice. And so we wanted to stress that. And then talked also, the third bullet was the doing the drills, taking them as seriously as possible, and then doing some reflection after a drill. What did we learn? What can we do better? How can we become more efficient? Excuse me, those kinds of things. So that's, in summary, what's on this document. As not only a school safety committee, but honestly, I think as an emergency operations team member, I think this is a positive step in the right direction for all staff, but certainly for all students moving forward. that's what I would share. Libby, Annette, things that you would like to add as an outcome of the committee. We present this summary not only to the board, but also to the negotiations team. Good to see your faces out there. We didn't see you last summer, but that time will be quickly approaching. So I'm glad that you were able to make it this evening.
Well, no offense, but we liked not seeing you last summer.
I love it.
I think we all really feel like we came to a really great spot at the end of the meetings. The staff, I believe, from the non-grumblings that we have not heard, feel a lot more comfortable and confident with the plan that's in place. There were a lot of staff members who were not necessarily worried about a shooter or an attack. It was actually simple little things like, what do I do if a child's in my classroom throwing a chair? Well, how do I handle those things? And so I think working together, the staff sees that we are all on the same page. It's not one against the other. Sometimes they only see us coming to the table at negotiations.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that can get a little sticky. But we always have ended with a great handshake and a great place. And so this is just another example of that. So thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
I think another great outcome of this committee is that it was nice to look at like what elementary was doing, what middle school was doing, and what high school was doing, and to recognize that we're not all doing the same thing. And so looking at how we could align those. And I think it also empowered some of the members to be able, when we were going back and having conversations in our building, to be able to say, I don't think that's what we learned at that safety committee. And I think also Rich came out to lots of buildings to sort of firm up those things as we started having those conversations. And that was really great. And I think, as Annette said, some, it was little things that we noticed, like some of the safety concerns were like, hey, there's mulch in the door. Why? And we don't know the doors aren't closed, and there's mulch in the door, or the wind is coming through and our doors aren't latching. And that's something we've been able to address out of these meetings as well.
That's great.
Great.
Yeah. Any follow-up or questions about the document moving forward?
I don't think so.
Yeah, time well spent. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, next report is owner's representative report with Tucker.
All right, we're getting ready for the last push through summer. Everybody's getting ready and geared up. I know there's been a lot of scheduled discussions, but we'll just kind of go through the 3 projects that are under construction and then what the rest of the summer will look like. We'll do Wanamaker, Pauline South, and Auburn. Those are the 3 that we're working on right now. And then go through some next steps and some miscellaneous items. So at Wanamaker, I don't know if you've driven by, but they've been doing the roofing since spring. Things are going well. Right now, they're also in the process of actually starting to install some sheetrock inside, and then scheduled to have HVAC units started up by the end of the month. We're planning on going through the moving this next OAC on Thursday. The moving plan, we've gone through the moving plans on the other 2, but that will be gone through with Whitney and Rich on Thursday. The big thing I think about this one that we're going to continue to keep an eye on is it's about a month and a half until summer starts, which there's a lot of renovations in this building, and it's a challenging building just from a layout and structure standpoint. And so getting this as far along as we can before summertime is important, and we're keeping an eye on it. Here's what the inside looks like right now. That's what you're looking at on the left there is the hallway that goes along to the right of it, and then the inside of the pre-K classrooms. Pauline South and Auburn, these are going to be pretty similar. So most of the work at Pauline South and Auburn is going to be renovation work. And if you remember us talking about last time we started this work over spring break, and it was primarily these 4 really collaboration spaces that are in board of the building, so we can by the courtyard, so we can get to them. And so they have been blocked off and started demo over spring break, and that's again similar to Wanamaker. Is if we can take some load off of the summer work to create some luck for us as far as making sure we get done this summer. I think that this was a good approach, and I think the buildings have been doing well with it. So there has been a delay on structural steel delivery. It's not critical right now, but we're keeping an eye on it. But they have been letting us, the building's been letting us get in there at night and do some electrical conduit while school is still going on, so that some of that work can get in and get ahead of schedule on. And then they've already met with Lloyd and the principal on move plans for both Pauling South and Auburn. You can kind of see it's similar. I don't know if you remember. I don't know how many of you were on the board during Pauling Central, but this is kind of what we do. This is what we block, how we block off to provide safety barriers from where we're doing work versus where the kids are, so that there really is truly a safe barrier between where the kids are and where the construction's going on. Auburn is a little bit further behind as far as just tracking as when we're comparing them, but they're different types of buildings. And so I think that we're doing good there, but just continuing to keep an eye on it. It's about at the same progress. It just looks a little bit messier if you were to go out there because they're just a little bit behind. But it's not critical right now, but we are definitely trying to push to make sure that we get as far ahead as we can. So that's what's going on the 3 schools. And next steps, met with Rich and Scott late last week, and we discussed how we've done a budget sort of audit update from a construction budget, master budget every year. And we've usually done it at the end of summer because we're trying to see what do we have left to spend. And now what we're looking at is where are we going to be left with what's left over. And so we're going to do that in late June in lieu of waiting until August, September. Now we'll continue to reconcile all the construction budgets with the capital outlay planning. But that's kind of how we've been exploring other expenditures is through the capital outlay planning process. And this is more of a function of just understanding whatever outstanding soft costs that we have. And then contingency usage, like we've been taking contingency that we may, have left over on a construction project and applying it to future design. But because we're not designing anything, it will be more to let you guys and Rich know kind of where we're sitting on that. And then just to confirm the accounting with Brett. So we'll go through that process in early June. Brett, I was going to let you know we'll be asking for that for June. Schedule oversight, obviously we talked about preparing for summers and ramping up project meeting frequency. We normally meet twice or once every 2 weeks. We'll probably start meeting once a week just so that we stay on top of it, starting right out of the gate in June. We talked a little bit about the strategy on the collab spaces. And then also, because we had a lot of projects finish up last summer and we're coming up on the 1-year warranty period, we've been working with Rich and his team to identify and understand what all warranty items are out there, as well as punch list items on the multi-purpose building, just to make sure that everything gets done and is accounted for. So not everything will get done by the end of the warranty period, but if it's all documented, then it's scheduled to get complete. So that's what we are doing for the last few months of this project. But everything's looking good right now. Any questions? Congratulations to getting in before the next round of price increases that are coming towards us.
My son's just disappointed there's a wall up at Wanamaker, so he can't see what's going on inside of the projects. Every time he walks by, he's like, they're doing something, but I can't tell what it is, so.
Yeah.
So.
I kind of jokingly have set a goal for myself that with Dr. Collier coming on board, I want her to be in a position to never have to put on a hard hat. So Dr. Collier, we're going to get all these buttoned up, so when you come on board, you can just walk in and watch teaching and learning and not have to worry about all the dirt and grime that comes along with it.
All right, anything else? All right, thank you, Tucker.
Yep. Thanks. Good evening.
All right, we are going to move on to items for discussion tonight. The first thing is school course fees. So Patrick.
It's not deja vu, but I am back again. When the high school was operationalizing the fees, they discovered one that they had requested fell through the cracks. And it's the advanced ceramics course at the high school. Don't know why, but it was lagging behind the normal ceramics course. So they're requesting to increase it from $30 to $40 just to match the ceramics course. Similar type materials used, similar volumes. So that was where that request came from.
Questions or comments?
Okay.
All right. Then I think you have the next one too, don't
I
you,
do.
Patrick, for the copier and printer lease?
Yes, so our current copier lease is expiring this summer, so we went out with the RFP process on it. Built it a little differently than we have in the past, talking with the industry and whatnot and changes in equipment. We went out with every copier and printer being color capable. Access to who can print color is controlled by a piece of software called PaperCut. And so not like the students will have a machine that they could print color on if the principals want that in their building, but not every machine. You could go up to make a black and white copy without having to log in, but to make a color copy, you'll have to log in. And we can monitor that. There's a lot of stuff we can do with it.
Thank you.
We had 5 responding companies, and I left how they were pricing it a little more open than usual, and we got 3 different models back on pricing. One was the base cost of the copier lease, plus a pre-allocation of copies based around 11 million black and 1 million color. The base cost of the copiers plus just a pure per page cost, what we actually consume. And then one actually presented an option with an unlimited number of copies. So when trying to come up with an apples to apples decision there, I had to come up with some page counts for each one, and I made that decision before I really dug in, just when we looked and saw what the bids were, type of bids. So I came up with a page count, talked my logic through with Brett, and that's how we calculated the price per page for overages, if they're going to have it, to give us an actual month-to-month cost to compare apples to apples. Decision came down extremely tight. The winning score was 9.38. Second place was 9.37 out of 10. Very, very tight. There was a submittal missing on the second place, so it was really a non-qualifying bid. So tallying everything up, and if you do look at the pricing sheet, you do have to zoom in quite a bit to see it. The Century Business had the winning proposal, with Sharp being the basis of the machines. We standardized the fleet a lot more than we are right now. The bigger copiers are all 60 page per minute. The smaller ones are all 45 page per minute. Printers on the desks, I believe, were 35, and we put bigger machines in the copy centers at the high school and at the middle school to help with that load there. Amazingly, faster machines, color capable, more machines, and my estimated monthly cost is less than we are paying now, to the tune of $40,000 to $50,000 a year. So it was a very successful bid process. Any questions?
I'm trying to remember, how often do we do this process?
This was a 5-year lease.
5-year deal, okay.
And that seems to be the sweet spot for getting good pricing. If you go longer, the monthly costs go up on the machines because of wear and tear. Too short, they just don't get as aggressive because it's a short contract.
So that's what we're proposing again, is another 5-year. Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Great work.
Yeah, sweet.
It doesn't happen often. Sometimes, in a rare case, we have an item for discussion that you'll see later on the same agenda as an action item. And that's simply because if the board approves the recommendation tonight, they have work that they'd like to get started, just to make sure that they're up and operational.
Making sure the equipment's here by June 30th when our current lease runs out.
I'll happily approve the saving of $50,000.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you, Patrick.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to 6.03, which is new and revised job descriptions.
Yeah, I have 5 job descriptions as presented to the Personnel Subcommittee. So some of you have seen this before. We're just reorganizing some things on the Learning Services side of the house. So when it says new and revised, some positions, we're just reallocating and moving things around. So if we wanted to kind of start over and make the job description look exactly how it aligns to the need, we did that. If we could just revise it, we did that. But let me know if you have any questions as you look at that group.
Questions or comments on those job descriptions?
Nope.
All right. Then we'll move on to 6.04, which is 26-27 administrator contracts.
Yeah, this is just an annual function of the Board of Education. We are not adding new administrator contracts moving into this upcoming 2026-27 school year. The overall number is the same. And so we've got a few changes, obviously, with some people doing some different things this upcoming school year. But it's the same group of contracts moving from this year to next. And so it's an annual thing. We're on, for the most part, annual contracts.
All right, questions or comments on that? All right, if not, we'll move on to section 7, action items. 7.01 is KASB legal assistance renewal, final read. So, any questions, comments, or would entertain a motion?
I will move the Board of Education approve the payment for KASB for legal assistance fund membership per the attached invoice.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. Move on to 7.02, which is the KSB membership renewal option 1, final read. Any questions, comments? Entertain a motion?
I'll move that the Board of Education approve the payment of the KASB membership renewal option 1 for the 26-27 school year as presented in the attached invoice.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. 7.03 is the WRHS 26-27 student handbook final read. No changes since you were here last time. Ed?
There were some very minor changes that were suggested by Ms. Stafford, who I have to give kudos to. She may be the only person in town that's read our handbook front to back. So God bless you.
Very diligent.
Any questions, comments about that? Joe, your wife's phone number's not in it?
No, it's not in there, and my name is spelled correctly, I think, so we're in
Then
good
it's
shape.
good to go.
Yeah, and
So-
it's fine.
Does it have your pickleball level of experience in it?
But I would entertain a motion if there's no other questions.
I think Jamie should motion.
I'll move the Board of Education approve the Washburn High School student handbook for the school year 2026-27 as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks, Ed. 7.04 is roof replacement for district locations. Rich, anything follow up from last time?
I did not receive any questions or any feedback, so I would recommend proceeding.
All right, any questions, comments?
Yep.
Otherwise, would entertain a motion?
I reviewed that one. Move the Board of Education approve proposal 80012 to replace roof section at multiple district locations for roof repairs district-wide as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
And then the last one on the list for tonight is 7.05, which is the RFP for the copier printer lease. Any questions that came up in the 2 minutes since the last time Patrick was sitting up here?
No.
Otherwise,
Can you save us $50,000 in every area? No.
So,
We can wish.
all right, entertain a motion.
I'll move the Board of Education accept the proposal from Century Business Technologies for the copier and printer contract for a 5-year period.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
No other communication items tonight. And surprise, there's no executive session tonight.
We have no topics.
We have no topics for executive session, so there's only one motion left to make. Somebody wants to move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
This is the easy part.
Second.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion passes 6-0. We are adjourned. Thank you, guys.